Hi, I'm John Storms, and some people have asked to do behind the scenes tour to see what things look like in the daylight. So this is Mumu. So we're gonna give him a tour, aren't we? Yes. Okay. So this is the display. Here I have 13 white wire trees. We lost the stand to one. Actually, I accidentally gave it away. And then, but we did get it back. It's just not in time. And then, of course, all the trees were advertised as 6 feet, and the three in the middle are just a little taller than 6 feet, which was a fun surprise. I'm on my second set of trees. And then we got these two big trees in the front yard that started off as little trees, and they're becoming a problem because they're blocking the house and a lot of the views. And these we just have LEDs on. Can you get over these? Oh, come on, let's go. Can you get over that? Good dog. So, moved to a lot of pixels. So, the other lights and the Light-O-Ramas we have controlling these bushes, which we used to not decorate. On the trunks, I have matrices, and these have 600 pixels each on them. And I just put them in the big square things, and then I kind of have them. I use a custom model because at the top they're a little irregular due to where the branches fit in, but I just wrap them around and then zip tie them in the back, and they go around about 270 degrees to the point no one notices. And I have data going in the front, which is there at the bottom. And then I have 3 power injection points, and for these I'm running into these ammo boxes. So these ammo boxes are my power injection for everything in the front yard, including the trees. So let me open one up. And next year, it's just basically this waterproof 33 amps power supply with a power distribution board. What, you gonna help? Yeah, you helped make them, didn't you? It has power distribution board, and then I got a little fan in there, and I have a little LED in there, so I can tell if they're on or not. And it's a waterproof power supply, but I stuck it in the box anyway. The weather can get harsh during December here. But eventually I want to switch these over to something that stands up. The trees each have 150 pixels. I might actually move it back to 125 because I liked it better. And then I just swirl them around the trees. And then about halfway through I have the power injection point. Then going in, I have the data at the bottom, and I daisy chain up to 4 trees together for data, just to save on the cabling. And of course the cabling runs back, and in that black bag there is a Falcon F16 V3, and then there's also a Light-O-Rama box. Okay, so that's the front, and I got plenty of extra ports, so if I want to expand I can. Come on, you gotta weave your way through the bushes. We stake out the yard. My wife does that. And of course, we got the little side crepe myrtle trees that have grown in nicely. We have all these bushes on the Light-O-Rama box. We got the side blue bush on Light-O-Rama box. There's a Light-O-Rama box hiding there. And then we have another one up on the porch. And my battery's about to die, so let me swap it. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, there's a Light-O-Rama box under that black garbage bag. I like black garbage bags. At night you literally can't see them at all, and I feel like there's just a little bit of extra protection. And so if I have like a splitter and that sort of thing where I bring extension cords together, I'll often throw them on top of the box and then cover it up. But we got the snowflakes on. I got a security camera there. We have the wreaths. We added a lot of new snowflakes this year. So those 42 inchers replaced the old 42-inch Phillips snowflakes. And each one of those 46 inchers has 222 nodes, so it added a lot of pixels. And then I was filling in with those little snowflakes, some dark spots. But next year, I could definitely put bigger snowflakes there, get some more on the bottom, so we're planning more. And then here we had some 42 inchers, replaced them with these 174 node chloroplast snowflakes. And I get all my snowflakes from Boscoyo. And of course we have the cactus. The cactus does blow over in the wind, so I have him hung up with fishing line. And I use fishing line for everything. There's a ton of fishing line because we get some pretty good wind, and the fishing line keeps the snowflakes from blowing all over and beating themselves to death. The cactus, I think, has 785 pixels on it. It was overhauled this year. If you notice, the top has a bunch of zip ties, because actually when I was cutting them off, I liked that it had hair, so we left the hair on. And we have this mapped in 3D, and it does a really good job in the show. Of course, this guy I have locked up to a security cable. Haven't had too much trouble with vandalism. One Halloween I had some issues, but for the most part it's been pretty nice. I got this guy just to not trip over wires. I need another one for over there. My wife got me one that's under the tree. Oh look, there, I found a pair of pliers. Oh, they're all rusty now. Crap. I lose so many tools that way. Okay. Anyway, so here's the other blue bush. These guys also are getting big. They're starting to hide the pixels behind them. So the patio's all muddy because my youngest wiped her shoes off, even though she didn't want to get the mud mat dirty. So inside here I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So these are power injection boxes for stuff going up on the roof. I got power coming in, and I have these power strips set up so that turning stuff on is pretty easy. So here I'm running it off of a distribution board. I just don't have any data coming to it. So last year I did a lot with the F48, but this year I'm running, I shoot for 600 pixels per run with the snowflakes, daisy chained together. So I'm using going directly off the Falcon controller. So I'm reusing these guys, and you can go up to 5 amps per port, so as long as I stay under the 5 amps, I'm good. And this one, I just have a 20 amp power supply. I like to fuse all of my inputs. I've had a couple of close calls with fires, and I'm in Texas, so things do get hot, so I have a fan set up. I just pop it into one of the 12-volt ports. I got a little vent here, so it can pull air in. And of course, here's the Ethernet, the Cat5 connection, which I'm not using. And I use the plugs to keep everything waterproof. On the porch, it's not a problem. For the unused ones, I just have a piece of wire running through just to keep the hole occupied. So anyway, the ones that are outside, what I do is I take a piece of PVC and I give it a little exhaust pipe. That way rain doesn't get in. And of course, the fan is on top. And for the ones that are outside, I go through and you put dielectric grease to keep stuff from getting in. So I have another power injection box there. Up there is it's in the centrally located area is another Falcon F16 V3. So I have 4 of them that are running the show. And what I've done here is I got one of these little shelf kits from, I forget, it's Home Depot or Lowe's. They both have them. This is the cobalt one. But basically you put up the strip and then you can just pop the shelves in. So each year I just leave the little strip up, and then I pop the shelf out and stick it in the garage with everything else. But that's my controller. Then over here, I got another security camera for the porch. And there I have a Light-O-Rama box that's been up for probably 7 years. Yeah, I haven't brought it inside, and it's doing fine. This is another power injection box. This is the power injection box for the cactus. And then I have another power strip there, power strip here. This power strip actually runs everything in the front yard. And then it all connects back into there to an outlet that I had put right off of the main breaker box. And here I got 2 small little wreaths that are going to get overhauled next year. Probably going to put pixels there. Of course, a wreath on the front door. This year, I put up those 3 little snowflakes. Next year, I'm going to add a couple more. Those actually were some of the hardest ones to put up because my little step ladder is too short, my big extension ladder is too long, so I took the extension ladder, had to keep it at a really steep angle, and then the feet were barely on here, and it was definitely a slip hazard. See here, you can see all of the fishing line, and I'm running fishing line through the little bottom loops of the snowflakes. So each of the snowflakes, I use one of these zip ties that has the little cable guard adapter, and I put one of those at the top and I put one at the bottom, and then the one at the top, you can't quite see it very well here. Let me zoom in, but I put a hook or one of those little clippies on it. Yeah, I got some in the garage I can show you. Put one of those clippies in to store them. Oh, here's my car. I got a Griswold license plate. Of course, I got antlers. They have lights on them. Then I got the red nose. These are the big version for the bigger snowflakes, but it's the same idea. So basically what I do is I clip one end through the little hole on that zip tie. This is the kind of zip tie that comes with a little loophole in the end. And then the other end will go onto a hook in the house. And then for storage, with those same little clips, what I do is I have these closet rods for, hung up with shower curtain rings, and then I just use those same little clips and clip them up onto there. And so here I have a couple left over. Obviously most of them are up on the house right now, so it makes it so I can store a ton of those in just a little bit of space. Okay. So the house, I was really lucky that the house came with this this little faux pergola thing. So here I have that same cobalt shelf strip all the way across, and then I stick the shelf units in. And so on the underside, sorry puppy, did you get kicked? You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You get kicked. So I put the shelf units in, and I got I put the power strips underneath. I have 2 power strips in here. So this is another F16 V3. I have a total of 4 of these in the show, and this one is, powering this side of the house. And you can see the little through the wire there. You can see the little exhaust fan. And he hooks up to all the things that are pixels, and then he also connects to a serial port to this guy, which is the Light-O-Rama box powering this side of the house. Mostly it's the stuff on the roof. I got a couple of old snowflakes up there. That's the only place where I still have the Philips 42 inchers, which are, if you look over there in the corner next to the pumpkin, I have one more. So the ones that are on the roof really are the last ones. But anyway, that's Light-O-Rama box. And then these are 2 more power injection boxes. So I run my lights at 60% brightness. Not so much because I think they're too bright. It's so that I don't have to have power injection just everywhere. And if we back up, I have 2 more power injection boxes. Well, actually 3. I have 3 power injection boxes on the roof. There's 2 on that side, 1 on that side. And they're actually held in place with these really high test magnets. They have a hook on them. Got them at Home Depot. They're great. The other thing that's new is I put icicle lights on the house. These are Pixel icicle lights that I got from Paul Zhang, and they're great. In the middle, so there's 2 strings, and they both end in the middle of this section of the house on the roof, and then they go in either direction. And then either side I have 40 foot of data cable getting it back to the controller. So this side goes to the controller here, that side goes to the controller there. And I use one of those F-amp pixels, null pixels in the middle to redo the signal. A lot of these lights came from Seasonal Entertainment, and they produced a batch of lights that I bought a ton of, which were wired up backwards for positive and negative. So I have a lot of custom connectors in here to help me not only go back and forth between the X-Connect connector type, but also to flip the polarity. So I have a bunch of these guys, and I did a video on them, but I make sure they're screwed down real good, make sure they're real tight, they're at, IP68, and I fill each one with dielectric grease to keep water from getting in there and shorting out. See, here's another example of the hook. I do things in runs, so I have each run labeled, and every single element on the run gets one of these toe tags. So this is the 7th item in the run. This is the 11th item. Even the little power injector T has a numbered thing, and that way I kind of get it all laid out in a spreadsheet, know exactly how many parts I need, what lengths of cables, and figure out the power draw. Hey Farsad! Figure out the power draw and all that. So here's what I got set up on the garage. Now on the roof of the garage, see, I have the old Philips 42-inch Snowflakes that I got at Target, and these are going fast. They don't do well in the UV light after several years. So I have them doubled up. Every place I have one of these on the house, there's actually 2. So if one goes out, the other one kind of helps back it up. They also reinforce each other because they're getting brittle. This is my Tune Toe sign. Very low tech. Those are reflective letters, and that's all I do for that. We got a little Santa. We got some presents to kind of hide the cabling mess, and then spent a long time going through yard sales and stuff looking for just the right size deer. But I'm really happy with them. So this was last year's pixel project, was adding lights to all of these. So Rudolph has 100 pixels, and all the other deer have 250 each, with 2 power injection points, one on the end and one in the middle. And then of course I have the sleigh with 200 pixels. And so for the one in the middle, it's again an X-Connect T connector. And then this one I just needed a simple, so this is the end, so I just basically needed a ginger changer. So in the interest of time, the easiest thing to do is just to take a T, cut one of the cables off, and then I stuck, what do you call it, the liquid tape on it, and on the cut end, and that's my power injection. Now, everything I do for power injection, since I use 3-core cabling for everything, just because I bought too much, which is the way of my people, anything that is power injection I mark with a red zip tie. Then likewise, anytime when I have these lights that flip polarity, I mark those with a blue zip tie. That way I know which one's which. So this one is doing power and it's switching the polarity. Now the other little trick I do, see that pink zip tie? When I do a long run of lights, which isn't such a big deal there, but it's certainly a big deal in the big trees, I put a colorful zip ties on the end so that I can find the end of the string when I'm all done. Okay, so let's go over here. And there's the deer. This is the one incandescent bulb I have. So this is a C9 incandescent red bulb, and it just is running off some lamp cord. Come on, hey, we're going this way. There's my deer. Those are all the cables for the deer. So it comes back, and I have one of these power injection boxes again. You know, as soon as these power supplies wear out, I'm going to swap them to something a little better. And then this is kind of the big controller here. But let's look at this first. So up there I got another power injection point, and that one powers basically the one-car garage here. Then this is another controller spec that I'm hiding. Whoops, sorry Buffy, you get buried. So here I've actually got 3 controllers together. I have these stands I got from Wow Lights a long time ago. And I actually have 2 stands there, and I just kind of scrunch them all together. So this is an F16 V3. This is a Light-O-Rama 16 port. And then this one has 2 power supplies inside. This is a CG2500 case from Holiday Coral. Now here you can see, yeah, it's gross. Yeah, that's dielectric grease. I do that to keep the water out. And then there's my little exhaust pipe. Again, this is just a big cabling mess. I got all of my splitters on top, and then I just take all of this, just throw the garbage bag over top, zip tie it, because if I don't, they blow away. And then it just hides this big mess. Where are you going? That's the neighbor's house. Okay, so that's that. Now there's one other thing to see. Now in my display, all of the F16s, I use them to just provide data. I don't mix it with power. I use power injection for everything, just because I've had issues where I don't get something down just right, I get a loose ground wire, and I'll burn up one of those little power injection boards. And those cost $15, $17. The Falcon F16 V3, those are $200. So I pretty much just let them power themselves. The exception is the reins on the deer. They're these strips, and those I power directly off the Falcon. But outside of that, I don't. Okay, camera cut out on me. I'm not sure where I left off. But anyway, the other question I get is, how do we hook the lights up to the house? Okay, that's my neighbor's dog, barks constantly. But how do we, put the lights up on the house? So, each of the snowflakes I connect at the top and the bottom. Okay. So we have these hooks that go on the top like this, right? And again, I use fishing line. And then down at the bottom, I also connect them, because otherwise they'll flap all around. And then I will run, fishing line back and forth across it. See, I got fishing line I got fishing line that goes from there all the way back down and up and back and forth. So we use that to handle the wind. And if we don't do that, the wind gets us pretty good. And then we have screw eyes into the rock, and I'll show you in a second how we do that. But over here, come on over, good puppy. Over here, we got another power injection box way up there, which is unnecessary because now that it's up, I know that the cabling would actually reach the porch just fine. So we'll do that next year. Oh, you shut up. Oh, you shut up. Oh, that's a bad dog. See? You're a good dog. You're a good dog. Come on, let's go. I know, he's naughty dog. Alright, so now we're over by my air conditioners. This is the side of the house I never use or ever see. This is a good place to do tests. So this is where I got my test hook. So here, what I've done is I drill a hole into the stone. This is how I actually mount the snowflakes to the house itself. I drill a hole into the stone, and actually on the face of the house, I'll typically go in up here at about this angle. That way nobody can see. I don't go into the mortar, I go into the stone, and then I drop in one of these number 8 anchors, and then I take a gancho or a screw eye, and I just screw those in, and then those hooks I showed you that I put at the top of the snowflakes, just clip those right in there. Or if they're further down, I'll use the fishing line and tie that into this. But works really, really well. And when I go to sell the house, I'll take a pair of pliers, pull it out, and then fill that in with putty or toothpaste or mud so they can't see it, and we'll be done. So super easy. Then on the roof, the snowflakes up there are just put in place with solid nail. So anyway, that's the tour, behind the scenes tour of the light display. Oh wait, we'll show you the little control center quick. Okay, back in the garage. In terms of command center, so I have this box here. This is really overkill, but I basically just made myself a little box where I have my network controller, and I got these little Ethernet jacks. These you can get from anywhere, Amazon, Holiday Core, Wired Watts. There's a bunch of places that sell them. And this is just basically my network. So connected to the network, I have the 4 Falcon controllers, which then serve as E131 bridges to the Light-O-Rama boxes. Then I run Cat5 along the top of the roof, drop it down over to here, and then here I have my control center. So I do have a Raspberry Pi, and last year I ran the show off of it, but I just love the X scheduler program so much, and I got laptops laying around, so I set this laptop up. And by the way, this is a ThinkPad from Lenovo. Completely hate it. It's the worst computer ever. If you hook it up to a monitor, you lose the screen, have to reinstall the drivers. But if I never hook it up, it's fine. So for a show computer, it does the trick. I got a little radio here so that as the show's running, I can listen. I got the audio jack hooked up to my Eclipse 4000 from Mobile Black Box. I totally love it. They don't make them anymore, so I need to get a backup. And then I have a little power strip here. The only thing this is really lacking is a nice light so that I can see when I'm working. But you know, this is where, you know, we store the snowflakes. The deer gets stored on the roof. The cactus actually gets stored on the roof right there. You can see the rope, and he's actually, I hold him up on the roof with Velcro. And then wreath snowflakes. These are old snowflakes. I'm gonna get rid of these. These are old snowflakes. Started stripping the lights off of those. Here, I was gonna put these on the tree this year, but didn't have time, and also didn't come up with a good way to mount them to the outside of the tree. And of course, I got the storage for all things Christmas. I got a spare string of the icicles, and yeah, that's pretty much the tour. So I'm sure by this time everybody's logged out. Oh, I got 2 of these speakers. When the neighbors come out, what we do is we take these speakers, hook them up to a 50-foot extension cord. We put one over in that corner, one over in that corner. Then people come and they bring out their folding camp chairs. We all hang out and we watch the show. So that's it. That's the show, or that's the behind the scenes. I'm sure most of you have stopped watching long ago, but thanks for watching, and you know, we'll keep posting videos.